A brief analysis of gender depiction in Indian advertising. I was introduced to the book, Gender Advertisements, by Irving Goffman, by my friend Professor Arvind Rajagopal of NYU. We were enjoying a cup of coffee when I casually mentioned that I had been studying television ads from the 1970s to the 2000s, and that I found some interesting trends in the way women were being portrayed. The prof wanted me to read this book before I started writing my article. I searched high and low for the book and finally managed to get a used copy on Amazon.com. What is so unique about the book, you may wonder? Advertising has been the punching bag of sociologists and media experts all over the world. This is all the more true in the US, which, incidentally, has among the highest advertising spends to GDP ratio. Sociologists and academics from the broader media sector believe that advertising creates unnecessary wants and is an evil spell being cast on society. Books such as Fables of Abundance and Ad Cult USA build on this narrative. There is also an ongoing debate that advertising is part and parcel of popular culture, just as music, movies, and television. While advertising was getting its hammering, no one had thought of dicing and slicing advertising through the gender lens. In his book, Professor Goffman analyzed over 500 print advertisements from the 1960s and 1970s to inquire into the question of how the issue of gender was interpreted in them. And what he found was disturbing, to say the least. When I started reading Professor Jashri Jethwani's book Beauty Paradigm, Gender Discourse in Indian Advertising, I was wondering if she would give a hat tip to Professor Goffman. To my delight, she not only referred to the classic, but also, probably for the first time, used Goffman's theoretical construct on gender portrayal to analyze all types of Indian ads. What does this construct consist of? The analysis factors considered include relative size, feminine touch, function ranking, the family situation, the ritualization of subordination, licensed withdrawal, patriarchy, and objectification. Professor Jethwani and team analyzed a cross-section of 1,100 ads from 5 broad categories across print, television, and digital. The author found that unambiguously in the analysis of Indian ads across various brand categories is the blatant stereotyping and objectification of women in the ad narrative. One chapter is dedicated to this research, and it makes interesting reading since it shows how various categories are almost uniformly poor in handling gender equality. The chapter that looks at specific ads makes an interesting read. Here the author has pointed out ads that stood out in terms of handling gender issues. Tanishik, Hero Pleasure, Airtel come in for praise, while ads from brands like TV Scooty, Wildstone Deo, Durex, and many others get called out. Why are advertisers and agencies not able to weave in a better gender narrative? The author speaks about conducting numerous FGDs with advertising agency executives to find out their gender sensitivity quotient and finds that missing. Given the academic nature of the book, one chapter is dedicated to the need for creating gender sensitization courses in UG and PG courses. The book also provides a very interesting gender sensitivity test, a self-analysis, to check the gender sensitivity of a campaign. The author has mentioned that the Advertising Standards Council of India was doing its own study of ads and their gender representation. This book, Gender Next, is now available, and while not as academic as Beauty Paradigm, makes some interesting points. 2 areas that Professor Jethwani has not covered in her book find significant mention in Gender Next: the role of marketers, or brand owners, and the changing self-perception of women of India. Gender Nexters also interviewed people like D. Sharoda, who has been doing great work in spreading the gender sensitivity cause, and awards like the Ladli Award. But, as Professor Jethwani has said, not enough has been done. It is easy for brand owners and ad agencies to say that ads only reflect society. That, she argues, is a lame excuse. While advertising cannot change society, it can at least try and present a better version of society. I suppose that was also the argument that got Professor Goffman to do his work. Beauty Paradigm is a must-read for those who are concerned about depiction of gender in advertisements, and how we can all play a more meaningful role in bringing about positive change. Check out the book on Amazon.